So, hello everyone, it's Jim Hampton, and welcome to the USA Radio Museum series of legacy interviews with broadcasters who have made a difference in the world of broadcasting, and one that certainly has. And my great pleasure is to have John Landecker here. Hello, John. How are you?
Fine, Jim. Thank you for asking me. It's great to be here.
Well, I know it's maybe tedious to kind of relive your life, especially the one that you have lived, because I read your book again, actually, to refresh my memory, and I'd forgotten so much of that stuff. It was like really good reading at the time, but then, you kind of think, oh,
Sure.
okay, well, but wow, congratulations on a life pretty well lived, I would say.
Thank you.
You know, you when you grew up in Ann Arbor, is that where you're from?
Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yeah. My dad taught at the University of Michigan, and I went to University of Michigan High School, and go blue.
Was it fun being you in
Oh,
those years?
yeah. Ann Arbor is a great campus town. I mean, it's fabulous. The high school I went to was run by the University of Michigan School of Education, and the building was right down on the campus. I mean, we're like here's the students, here's us. Here's the students, here's us. We could leave the high school and go onto the campus and have lunch at a restaurant if we wanted to. Well, also I may add, there was no cafeteria at this high school either.
Oh,
So, I guess there weren't that many options. But it was like, it was literally like being a student at the U of M. We had student teachers, who would come in
really?
from the School of Education. Yeah. Um, our high school football coaches were all former Michigan players and probably phys ed majors at that time. So, yeah, I loved it. I thought Ann Arbor was fantastic.
Do you still have any friends that you made from that time that are still around and you're close to?
Yeah, and probably a name you're going to remember, Art Volo. Yes.
On my lips, as always. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Art and I met when I was 16 years old. He didn't go to the same school as I did, but um, his attraction to, we had a mutual attraction to radio.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. And we've remained since ever since. In fact, I just saw you at his house a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I met Art in 1962, and
Jeez.
I was on the air in Ypsilanti, and he comes strolling up to me and, "Hey, I'm Art Volo, and I want to take your picture."
Yeah.
It started from that, and it just went on for all these years. And it was really a lot of fun to see not only him and remember a lot of that, but also all the people that still love him. It's just
Oh,
really
yeah.
quite outstanding.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. So in Ann Arbor, didn't you get your first start in radio sort of there?
Oh, yeah. Probably when I was, let's see, I must have been a junior in high school. My girlfriend at the time, her aunt, was quote unquote the woman's editor of a local radio station in Ann Arbor, and she got me, I get an interview, I guess would be one way of putting it, with the program director who was on the air at the time. And it was a little building on a dirt road across from a dairy farm. And I walked in there, and he was making a big deal that there was a high school kid there. And he told me to go into this other room where there was a microphone, and he handed me a bunch of papers, and he said, when that light goes on, read it. And it was wire copy. So I did. And that sort of started everything. I went out there after school and I hung out. I went out there and got a job as a janitor at $1.15 an hour. Then I hooked up with the guy who was doing a morning show on Saturdays. That was the only rock show on the station. And
Who
he
was
eventually let
who was
Tom
that guy?
O'Brien. Do you know Tom O'Brien?
Tom O'Brien.
Yeah.
I know him actually very well.
Well, there
Um,
you go.
yeah. In fact,
Oh, yeah.
so yeah. Tom O'Brien is actually here. He wanted "This Is Your Life," John Landecker.
What? No.
Hey, John,
What? Really?
how are you?
Oh my God. I'm fine. You want to go down to that place and get a couple of beers?
That's right. We used to the brown keg, wasn't it?
Yeah. Wow. This is fantastic. You're a lawyer. You're a judge, aren't you now or something
No,
like that?
my dad was, my wife is, but no, I was a lawyer. I am a lawyer. But
Yeah.
I remember, John, you were right. I was doing the show on the weekends, and Ted Heisel, the person you
Wow.
mentioned, said to me, I know this high school student over at U High. How would you feel about him doing the news on your show? And I thought, well, all right, sure. And you showed up in your letter jacket. You came in, you sat down, and I decided I was going to try every which way to
Oh, yeah.
crack you up on your very first broadcast. And
Yeah.
it just happens that some of it got taped. And
Mhm.
wouldn't you know that Art Volo,
Oh,
sometimes called radio's best friend, had a
yeah.
copy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's listen to just a little snippet
Oh,
of that.
great. Let's listen to that. Yeah.
Back in my control board now. Things are going to run
There you
smoothly.
go.
Never fear. Just leave your radio where it is. John Landecker is about ready to do the news, and are we going to give him the business? Let's turn him on and see what he has to say.
Tom, the temperature is 74 degrees outside. It's 10 o'clock and time for news. Algerian President and strongman Ben Bella has been overthrown by a military coup headed by Colonel Harari Boumediene. This story tops headline news at 11.
With split second tracking, you can search instant radio.
The fate of deposed Algerian President Ben Bella is uncertain, although he
Thank you,
presumably has
Brave
been
Knight.
arrested, and the news
Tell me your
team
name.
says, my name is John Landecker.
I'd like to see your face.
Well, just look in the mirror there.
Bring me an apple, somebody.
And President Ben Bella has been eating an apple for the past hour and a half, waiting for this news.
Here's the apple.
Well, congratulations on a very wonderful debut in radio.
Well, you see, that's sort of actually, I didn't know it at the time, but that set the stage. You know, Tom firing all those drops at me was great training. I mean, Tom was just fantastic. He just welcomed me in, and we did go to a place down the road a bit and have beers and things like that. And it was just awesome. And then, not only that, Tom goes to WTRX in Flint, and it's the home of the Jones boys.
I remember it well.
That's right.
I forget what Jones you were.
I
Tom.
was Casey.
I was there before it was Jones, and then Tom, weren't you on there as a Jones boy for a while, or?
Yeah, I was. 6 to midnight. Casey Jones and the Midnight Ride.
So anyway, he gets me a weekend gig there. I'm driving up from Ann Arbor to go on WTRX, and the program director said, "Well, you don't have to be a Jones boy because you work weekends." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I want to be a Jones boy." He goes, "Okay, who do you want to be?" I said, "Dow. I want to be Dow Jones," and that's what I was. And for a great summer of going to Flint, thanks to Tom.
What year was that?
John,
Hey,
63?
60. No,
No, later.
later I was at a high school. It was it has to be 66, somewhere in there.
I do want to say, John, that when you came on WOIA that first time, and I really tried mightily to crack you up, you were composed and professional, and you sounded like a network anchor. You really did. You're a high school junior, and it was pretty clear you were going to have yourself a real career in radio, and I think that's turned out to be true.
Well, thanks, Tom. You were very instrumental in the early days, I have to say.
Well, my pleasure.
My pleasure. Thanks.
So if you ever need a lawyer, John, I think Tom is standing by to help you. Pro bono, of course.
You never know. You never know.
That's
As a
right.
matter of fact, wait a minute. I have this, I'm flashing on a memory that's in the WOIA production room. And Jim, you're visiting the station, I think, to see Tom. And I believe I met you that day. Not for very long, but I'm pretty sure that happened. How
Well,
about
I know
that?
we have you've sort of followed stations that I worked at. I worked at WYSI in Ypsilanti, and
Right.
I knew Tom in those days, as I recall. And he used to come up and visit me in Flint when I went to WTRX before the Jones Boys. And so, yeah, it's interesting how radio careers paths crossed. And wow, it's, and then when I went to LS, and then I left and you were hired shortly after that. So it was kind of a full circle now that we're talking again.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's nice.
it
So,
is.
well, Tom, any last words?
Well, I was impressed, John. I pulled up your bio and saw the stations you'd been at. I saw that Billboard had named you when you were at WLS, disc jockey of the year for the United States of America. I thought, how fitting. And you're always natural. You just were you. And nothing forced about your delivery. It was you on the air, your voice, and the what? John Records Landecker Leviathan. Was that
Yeah, Radio
the handle?
Leviathan. Yeah.
Yeah, Record Leviathan. Yeah. So I read your book too. So,
Well,
well,
thank you.
congratulations,
I,
John.
wow. I'm I don't know what to say. Thanks. I mean, it's
Well,
so
it's been
great to
fun.
see you. It is so great to see you on this thing. I can't tell you. I mean, when he said your name, I thought, oh yeah, this is a joke, you know. But wow, fantastic.
Thanks,
Good to see
Tom.
you.
Appreciate you
Thanks.
being
Thanks.
here.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Wow, so
Wow.
that was a nice trip. Let's see what
I
other
can't
20
tell,
people.
man, I can't tell you how great it was to be with him. I mean, he was, he's older than I am a bit. And although he doesn't look it now, does he? Um,
He still has the same hair. I mean, it
and
astounds me.
he could have been on the radio very easily, I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
Um, wow.
But
That's just my
he has been a very, very successful lawyer in Michigan and around the
yeah.
world, literally. And he's done some incredible things. I read some of the bio on his law firm's web page, So anyway, I'm
Wow.
glad he could be here to support you at this moment.
You don't have any other surprises up your sleeve, do you?
Well, let's get to it and see.
Oh no. Although that was great. That was great.
Yeah, I don't think you can top that.
No.
You went, let's see, you went to ILS too, another LS, but a WILS.
Yes.
And
In
that,
Lansing, Michigan, yeah.
how did that
I
go?
had let's see how'd this work. So I graduated from high school and went to Grand Valley State University in Allendale, Michigan, and I worked at this daytimer called WERX. And then I transferred to Michigan State because they had a communication arts department. And I went on their main campus station, WMSN, and then that led to the commercial station, WILS, and then that led to WIBG in Philadelphia.
So how was IBG? Wonderful Wibbage. What a horrible name, I
Well,
thought.
in the beginning, it was, how do I put this? Unbelievably stressful. They changed my name to Scott Walker.
Hmm.
It was a very, very, very tight format. And the man in charge was Paul Drew.
Mm.
And I mean, he was in charge of every little thing. And it was not fun. But I mean, I had dropped out of college. I had a wife and a kid. Thank God he didn't fire me because he didn't have my reputation of keeping people around. I can tell you that. So he did me a favor in that regard. but it was, and I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. But then the station was sold from Storer Broadcasting to Buckley Broadcasting, and Paul Drew was out, and Rick Buckley came in with an air personality named Joey Reynolds.
Wow.
And
I know that concept.
could not have been, I don't even know what the word is. One day, I'm Scott Walker in this really restrictive format. The next night, I'm John Records Landecker, basically doing whatever the hell I want, which is, and following Joey, which was like an eye opener. I'd never heard anybody like that before.
Yeah. It's
I-
like
he was-
chaos, like
he was
chaos on the
It
radio.
was awesome. Just
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. And we became very good friends.
Yeah. We too. I mean,
Yeah.
I worked with him at WXYZ, and
Right.
I went on after him, and really, it was like chaos in the station. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
things were piled everywhere, and he was always coming in on my show, which was fine. It was funny. One day he decided he wanted to sing the Frank Sinatra songs from this album that had just the music without Frank in it.
oh my
So
God.
he starts doing, I've got you under my skin, and and he's singing,
Wow.
and pretty soon we're both singing, and it's like crazy time, and he was a joy to work with. He was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
When I listen to air checks from that period, I hear little Joey-isms in my delivery, some of that staccato stuff he used to do.
Well, you can't escape the people who motivated you. For years, everybody, John Records Landecker this, John Records Landecker that. And when I was in high school, WXYZ in Detroit was at 1270 on the AM dial, which did not get into Ann Arbor, but they weren't using their FM signal for anything. And so they simulcast. And I picked that up right away, and I listened to Lee Allen and Joel Sebastian. And if you go, and I went back and listened to like an old Lee Allen air check, and I'm like, oh my God, no wonder I stole that. I stole that. I stole that. I mean, subconsciously maybe, but at any rate, influences are influences, It's just the way
Absolutely.
things are. Yeah.
And Joel Sebastian, of course, was my absolute hero for me. He was a
Me
mentor,
too. Yeah.
and he was, I think, of all the disc jockeys, he was probably the one that I appreciated the most on the air, because he sounded natural. He could do the DJ thing when he wanted, but for the most part, he
Yeah.
was educated, and he was clever,
Oh,
and he was smooth.
he was super smart, super smart. I mean, I think he had a degree in psychology or geometry or something or other. I mean,
yeah,
he was
yeah,
a brainiac, no question.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think about him all the time still, So
Yeah.
after you were in IBG, and then you got a call from WLS, how did that work? They wanted you to come, or you?
I got a call. Now, wait a minute. How did this work? Yes. I got a call from WLS. Now, what had happened is, let me see if I can put this together. Okay, so we got WABC in New York, and the program director is Rick Sklar. And that station's owned by ABC. Then there's WLS in Chicago. That station's owned by ABC. But then there's a station in Philadelphia, WFIL. And I guess they all talk to each other. And my name was recommended in these conversations. Now, I didn't know any of this. And the program director apparently flew to Philadelphia and listened to me at night, and then went back and then called me. And I flew in, and they offered me a job.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What was it like to walk in the door of that station the first time?
Well, WIBG was not exactly, um,
Small
I mean, they
potatoes.
had great, no, that wasn't small potatoes. I mean,
Yeah.
so, I mean, walking into WLS was great, but it wasn't like overwhelming, let me to put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing about LS is that, and in those days, you could hear it
And,
everywhere. And if you couldn't really hear it loud, you would try to tune the dial to see if you could pick it up. So it had that sort of
well,
monolithic,
well,
legendary
I
impact.
accepted the job and then had to give 2 weeks notice in Philadelphia. And so I went back and I was still working and I worked from 6 to 10 at night. And after I got off the air, I could go into the parking lot and hear WLS on my car radio sitting in the parking lot of WIBG in Philadelphia. That made an impression, I'll tell you.
Absolutely, yeah. So
Yeah.
all these great legends worked there before, and of course, when you were there,
Mhm.
maybe mention a few, and you can give me a line or two about each one, if you what comes to your mind when I say like
All right.
Fred Winston, for example.
Rup, 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 rup. That's what comes to my mind.
Which in English means
Rup, 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 rup.
okay,
Yeah.
J.J. Jeffrey.
Oh my God. What a character. Um, I I can't reproduce his laugh, but was one of the greatest laughs ever. And uh, the air staff at WLS at that time in the mid 70s was very tight. We were all good friends and um, we hung out together socially and on the air. And um, the let's see what we call it. The prime directive that we issued was that the station is a tool for our amusement. And that's the basis that we operated on. And I'm telling you, people would try to crack up JJ doing whatever, and he would go into gales, just gales of laughter. It was, gosh, I wish I had some to play for you. It was astounding, just astounding.
What about Bob Surratt? I didn't meet
Oh,
him, but he
wow.
came after me.
Well, Bob and I, by the way, are working at the same station right now.
Mhm.
We're he's at WGN and I'm at WGN. He does mornings, and I do 7 to 10 at night, Monday through Thursday, if I'm not preempted by the Blackhawks. Bob was really young and a great guy, and just fit in like he'd always been there. And you know what he had? Basically, he grew up in Chicago. I don't think he's worked in radio in any other market in the United States, quite frankly.
Hmm.
And I mean, we played 16-inch softball. We, I don't want to get into it because I think the statute of limitations might not have run out, but there were gatherings, let's put it that way, after I got off the air at 10 o'clock. And Bob was there and JJ was there and some other folks. And we're good friends and have been since those initial days at WLS.
How about let's see, we talked about Joel. What about Chuck Buell?
You know what? I didn't know Chuck Buell that well. Chuck Buell and Chris Eric Stevens were the air personalities that preceded me. So they were there when I was hired to basically replace them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know Chuck now, he's a great guy, but I don't know him that well, really.
I thought he had moved into midday at one point when you were there, but maybe I'm
Oh,
not.
hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be for all I know. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
And of course, Larry Lujak.
Oh man. Hey Lair, how you doing? About average. Um, he was the first air personality I ever heard that took everything sarcastically. He was not a rah, rah, rah guy. Um, he had this, he called himself charming and delightful.
Old Knuckle
Old
there.
Uncle there. He published a book. He called himself Super Jock. Um, he was a great guy to know. We were really good friends, although I don't think people outside the radio station understood that because on the air, everything was like, uh, how do I put it? Um, sarcastically tongue in cheek. Let's put it that way. Um, but he was a legend. Oh my God. Larry Lujak was something else.
Yeah. Well, when I met him the first time, it was, sort of like that. So, hey, kid, what are you going to do for the station? It's like,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
you know,
Okay, wait. I'll tell you this. We can swear on this, right? It's not
sure.
airwave. Okay. So it's early on. We're back in the Jock Lounge, me, some other people. I'd come from Philadelphia. Larry's there. And a conversation develops about who's better, Elvis or the Beatles. And I go, well, Elvis is okay, but I think I like the Beatles better. And then we pause, and he goes, you don't know anything about music, you Philadelphia fuck. So it went from there. But he said it with love. Let's just put
Yeah.
it that way.
I
Yeah.
mean that in the nicest possible
In the
way.
nicest possible way. Right.
Yeah. So, what about management? Did you get along, or did you just get
Mm,
along?
well, let's see. Um, I got along. Okay. Um, John Guerin came in as a program director, and I got along with him. Well, the thing is, here's the deal. At that time, I don't know there's no other way to put it. I had these gigantic nighttime ratings. And when you had huge ratings, you had leverage. And people didn't mess with you much if you continue to get these gigantic ratings. And
Right.
there was a lot of freedom at WLS. I mean, every person on the air there were quote unquote bits, everybody. It was not a station where guys or women were just on the air doing promo cards and introducing records. There were all sorts of features, let's put it that way. BS Love Counselor, Larry Lujak, Animal Stories, and Clunk Letter. Um, everybody had something.
And you had some things too that were legendary.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. The
What was
one
your,
that's the
I
one
was going to
that's
say,
brought up the most is something called Boogie Check, and I wish I had some gigantic story about my creativity, but that's not the case. Uh, at the time, the top 5 records were on stopwatches. I believe every 95 minutes you had to play whatever song came up next. I hated it. And the term boogie was a slang expression at the time. Okay. And J.J. Jeffrey would conduct in the mirror a 60-second booger check before he went out on a date. Now I don't know how this all met in my brain, but it did, and it manifested itself by answering phone calls on the air live, which no one did, as far as I know, in And they weren't screened either, by the way, in rock and roll radio. And it turned out that I had probably ADHD. People didn't call it then. So these were like boom, 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 which fit right in with the way my thinking process. And the station didn't even have a delay system. And, a few FUs got on the air. And they had the Ed Glad, I believe it was Ed Glad, devised the tape delay system so we could dump out of anybody who swore or anything like that. But it was big, I got to say. People bring it up to me this day. I mean, seriously, and it was done spur of the moment. I didn't have any idea about what the bit was when I went on the air that night. And everything just sort of met all at once. And thank God there were 9 million teenagers calling the station because it wouldn't have worked without a mass of incoming phone calls, of which there were.
You did something around, I guess, when the Watergate was the big deal. You had a whole bunch of stuff with Watergate.
Yeah. I did a Nixon imitation. And well, actually, there was a guy named David Fry
I
who
remember
did a
him.
Nixon imitation. And I did an imitation of David Fry doing an imitation. And I did some Nixon bits. And with the help of Alan Rose and Tommy Edwards in the production department, made a song called Make a Date with the Watergate, which was put together from Lou Reed's song Walk on the Wild Side, which we didn't even play. And that became popular until, see if this sounds familiar. ABC owned a TV station in Florida. That station was up for license renewal. ABC didn't want to ruffle the feathers of the administration. They yanked the song off the air. That's the reason why. Yeah.
Heard that before.
Yeah. You still hear about it today on a much larger level, but yeah. But the moment Nixon resigned, excuse me, the song came back on the air.
So when I was there, I was doing the head of production, and you had all these different people. You had the engineer, and then you had the music turners, the musicians union,
record turner, yeah,
and then you had
turner,
the talent. And so when you would produce something, it'd be kind of like this. You were pointing at the sky. How did you put all those bits together? I mean, you were very prolific at that time. You had help, obviously.
I worked with really great engineers / board ops. I think that was a time of affirmative action, which meant stations were on the lookout for people of color and females. And so, let's see, O.C. Gibson, Lane Hinson, Renee Tondelli, Pam Murphy, all fit one of those categories. And they all came in to work. And the station, well, we'll put them on at night. They can't do any harm. Well, it turned out they were the hottest board ops I'd ever heard in my life. I mean, they were on the ball and fast and made life pretty easy. Some of those bits, some of those bits took a long time to do. But they were worth it, I think. I did a radio version of Star Wars, and Mark Hamill was going to come into the radio station, and I was working the afternoon show for Surratt. Surratt was working the morning show for Larry. Carrie Fisher was going to be on the phone with Bob. I wrote this script. I showed up in the morning, not on the air, but to see if Carrie Fisher would record a couple of lines, which she did. Then I spent basically the rest of the day with Alan Rosen building a track, for lack of a better term, that had music, but also sound effects that you had to hit doing this script. And so Mark Hamill comes in and I run this by him and he goes, yeah, let's do it. So that bit literally took all day, you know, from start to finish. And it's ridiculous. I mean, Bob Surratt gets captured in the WGN traffic helicopter and he's held over the Dan Ryan Expressway. And if we don't turn over WLS to Darth Vader, he's going to drop Bob into the traffic below. But then I remember that Darth had a deathly fear of ducks, so we transmitted Disco Duck by Rick Dees to the traffic copter, and Darth, I think his head exploded. Something along those lines. I mean, it was really.
Yeah, it was out there.
You know, yeah.
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 But that's great. I mean, that's somewhere between War of the Worlds and Boogie Check.
I never thought of it that way, but yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, it's great. It's great that management would let you.
Isn't it?
Let you do that.
Yes, indeed.
So, all these guys, that worked at LS, it seems like everybody that worked at LS went to WCFL, and you're the only one that never went to WCFL. What happened? They didn't like you, or by then they were not interested in beautiful music, or
no one made an offer, first of all, and
isn't that unusual? I mean,
I don't know. I doubt if I'd have gone, quite frankly. I was doing very well where I was.
Yeah.
Although, ironically, back with Ron Britton and Barney Pip and Joel Sebastian, those guys, WCFL was my favorite radio station of all time.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't go back and forth, although Larry did, and I think Chuck Knapp did, and I don't remember everybody else, but no, it just never came up.
That's interesting.
How important? No reason why.
How important was CFL as far as competition goes? Was it helpful?
It was everything. The worst thing that happened to WLS is when WCFL changed formats from top 40 rock to beautiful music, and our competitor was gone. It's like you got nothing to rail against. You're not comparing yourself to anybody. You don't have to do better than someone, quote unquote, because if you don't, they will, or things like that. So they were very important, I felt, to the success of WLS, because it was, and the kids or whatever, everybody knew it was competition. They knew LS and CFL had this competitive thing going on. So they were in on that. And once CFL was gone, all of that vanished.
Interesting. And that's, of course, sort of was at the time when AM was declining anyway. And I don't know, I guess you got unhappy at LS for a while, and then you made the trip to Toronto to work in Canada.
Yeah, I went to CFTR in Toronto.
So as a Canadian, how did that work out? I mean, or did they think of you as the outcast, or
Well, I think probably it's a little bit of both. I obtained landed immigrant status. I never really considered the fact that they might have had this thing about an American coming in and taking a show, and some people did and some people didn't. But I liked Toronto a lot. I thought it was a great town. I like CFTR a lot. I made some really good friends there.
Were you different on the air there?
Oh, that was a morning show. That was really the first morning show that I had ever tried. And yeah, I think I was different. I think I was looking for a different kind of content. I think I had some preconceived notions about what a morning show would sound like. Um, so it was a different experience for me.
Kind of play to the room, and the room was Canadian, you know.
Well, yeah, that's true. And I did.
It's a real
And
cultural difference.
there were some things that went over very well.
Didn't you get sued by the Beatles or
Oh
something?
yeah, man. Yeah. I did a parody song to the Beatles song Revolution about the Canadian Constitution, which was still over in the United Kingdom, and the Canadians wanted it. So I did this parody song, Constitution, to the Beatles Revolution, and ATV Music, which represented the Beatles' interests in Canada, sued me in Ontario Superior Court. And needless to say, I lost, but I don't know. I think this is sort of cool. Part of the judge's decision, and I'm paraphrasing, said, if you heard my version, it would forever taint your memory of the original. And I'm like, come on, it's not that good. Please. I mean, it's a parody record. You're giving it way too much importance. But yeah, no, but it was great for publicity. Oh my God.
That's like
Oh,
the
it made
best
the front
promotion
page.
ever.
It made the front page of literally every paper for a while there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to gloss over some things, I just for time purposes, but you came back to Chicago, you had some good and some bad experiences
Oh
there.
yeah. Yeah.
And at one point, I mean, I think you said that you couldn't get arrested. You couldn't find a job at a Chicago station, so you went to where was it? Cleveland, I guess it was, to work, right?
Oh God, how did that happen? Let's see. Oh, WLS was going to change to talk,
Right.
and I wasn't going to be a part of that. And I had an agent at the time, and he found a job for me in Cleveland doing mornings, and that's where I went for a while. That was not great, but
Yeah.
it was okay, you know.
But you agreed to do probably, I think, one of the most horrible radio stunts known to man. Didn't you get buried in a block of ice?
Oh man, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Does it come back now? I mean, is this memory
No,
coming
no,
back?
very, 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 very clear. It was in the parking lot of a car dealership that was a client of the radio station, and it was for some charity. Wait a minute, DARE. What is DARE?
The drug
Drug
abuse.
abuse resistance education, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was quote unquote in this ice cube of ice for, I don't know, 36 hours or something. And I did it. Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, that you should have won an award for. Of all the other awards you've gotten.
I
That,
don't think so.
yeah, I mean, that's the Houdini of radio. I mean, what you
Well,
sacrificed.
okay. Wait a minute. There's always a way around things. For instance, I could, and he's going to be in there, and he's not going to have any food for 36 hours.
Just
Well,
frozen food, you know?
things
Yeah.
like lifesavers are not cataloged as food, or there were these loopholes that, technically speaking, were not cataloged as food. So, yeah, I guess I didn't have food, so to speak, but it really wasn't that bad. I had a TV in there, and
So you weren't like like a coffin type thing. You were in like a little
No,
room
it
or
was
something.
no, it was a coffin type thing. It was like a block of ice. I was lying down in it. Um, I never really thought about it, but yeah, it is very much like a coffin.
I, I don't know.
I
Yeah,
wasn't, if I had claustrophobia, I never would have been able to do that, but I guess I don't suffer from that.
yeah.
So,
Well, I kudos to you. I couldn't have done
oh,
it.
thanks.
So when the next stunt comes around like that, I'm sure you'll raise your hand and
Oh, I doubt it very
you'll be
seriously.
there.
Yeah, no, I think I'm done with that kind of thing. Thank goodness.
Okay, couple quick questions,
Sure.
pop culture wise. Your favorite song of all time?
My favorite song of all time. Hmm. In My Life by the Beatles.
Really beautiful
Although
song.
I could, although I could have said a million different ones, but yeah, I'll go with that one.
Yeah. So you could have played that over and over a few times and still not gotten sick of it.
We never played it over and over. It was an album cut.
That's true.
Uh,
Yeah. I
so
forget which station you were on at
yeah,
that point.
there's no song that we played on any of those stations that's the favorite song of all time for me because they were all played to death.
Yeah.
When they came on, I might have liked them a lot, but as time wore on, they wore me down,
Yeah.
and it was like, I can't wait till that leaves.
And your least favorite song, I guess?
Uh, well, I guess I'm on record for "You Light Up My Life" by Debbie Boone.
Hmm.
There's a story, about that. I think it's in the book that, and it really was that I disliked the song so much. It was the fact that I was supposed to be a nighttime rocker, and this beautiful music song was like number one and getting repeated over and over and over again. And one night I went on the air and said, I've had it. And I said, we're going to play the, I know some people want to hear it. I don't. So I'm going to try to come up with a compromise. I'm going to play this song on installments. For instance, right now, I'm going to play the first 15 seconds of this song. Then in say a half an hour, I'll play the second 15 seconds and so on and so on and so on until when I'm about ready to end the show. So the final 15 seconds of "You Light Up My Life" was on the air. But, and they let me get away with that, although they weren't too pleased. But at any rate,
That's a promotion, it's a great promotion.
yeah, and I really didn't dislike it that much. It wasn't, it had more to do with trying to be a rock and roll disc jockey, I guess. And this
Yeah.
is also, I believe, when FM was coming on and things like that. But I guess I would say that is, although there's plenty of songs that are horrible. So I don't,
Yeah.
and a lot of them were played on the air during the 70s. I can tell you that.
Wasn't
Like
a good year for music, I don't think.
Seasons in the Sun, and just really, I don't know.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
good for repetition.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So if you were, let's say 18 again, and now it's in this particular time, would you get into radio again?
I'm guessing no. Or if I did, it would be sports radio.
Hmm.
There's nothing that I hear from stations that play music that attract me at all. If I was in high school, I can't see who it would be. I can't imagine who it would be that I would be listening to, or the drive to be on the air. I don't know if that would exist at the time.
Wasn't the same magic.
No, although there are people who do want to be in radio.
Yeah. But they, I think, look at it from a different point of view, from technology and from a
Could be.
bigger,
Yeah.
brand,
And now,
Facebook.
now it's podcasting and, um, streaming and music services. And, you don't have to go to a radio station to get the music you want.
You
All of
don't,
that.
and if you're a disc jockey, you don't even have to go to the radio station.
Right.
So all this time, as you put it, sex, drugs, and rock and roll was happening in your life. I think you finally got sober at
Oh,
one
yeah.
point early on there, and you were raising two young daughters, and you were juggling a lot. There's a lot on your plate at the time. Uh,
Hold on a second. I got a scam. Okay, there they go.
I'm not
Where'd
me.
it go? Um, there. I got a call and it was labeled scam likely or something like that. So they're gone.
Yeah,
Um,
that could be a
yeah,
new character for one of your bits. This
I
is
had two
scam
daughters.
likely.
Scam likely talking to you. Yeah, I had two daughters who grew up in Chicago, went to school there.
And you dragged them around. Not, dragged is a bad word,
Well,
maybe, but
not
you brought
really
them.
that much, no.
No?
Well, they were very small when they were in Philadelphia, but
Yeah.
once we got to Chicago, they never left until college.
Mm.
So they went to school in Chicago from kindergarten, first grade, all the way through senior graduation.
How big a surprise was it when Amy just became an actress?
Not a surprise at all, quite
Really?
frankly. Um, both of my daughters, Tracy and Amy, uh, when they were little, would put on quote unquote little plays in the living room. Um, the school they went to was sort of artsy fartsy to a certain extent. They had, it was a private school in Chicago, and they had a number of alumni that had gone on to be in the movies. Um, so no, it didn't surprise me at all, quite frankly. And my other daughter is the leader of a punk rock band called,
Hmm.
oh gosh, hello, the Walker Brigade. And that doesn't surprise me either. Um,
Because
I never thought about it.
you
I
have
never
your
thought about it, but I'd probably be surprised if they wanted to be an accountant. You know,
well, you had your own band in the
oh
Chicago.
well, that's putting it. It was just put together to do parody songs to promote the morning show that I was doing on a oldie station. But yeah, there was a band.
It was probably fun. I mean, you were out there
Oh yeah,
singing.
no, it was fun. Absolutely, had a great time doing it. They were great people, great musicians. Um, we went around Chicagoland every summer and just had a riot. It was a lot of fun.
Then you went back to work at this time WLS FM.
Uh-huh.
Did you like that? Was that a
Well, first of all, it was the True Oldies channel, is what they were calling it.
yeah?
That did not go well. So they didn't renew my contract. Then, what happened then?
Well, you worked with Dick Biondi, right?
Oh,
What was he
I've
like?
worked with Dick Biondi a couple of times.
Oh
Yeah. So then I guess it was Cumulus and came in, and John Jeffries, who I'd worked with before, was the new PD, and he brought me back to work nights. But then after a while, this new rating, haven't thought about it in a while.
the
New
PPM.
rating method. Yes, PPM, thanks. This new rating methodology started being used. And let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? Not cheat, but do things that you felt the programming felt would increase whatever the methodology of the PPM was. And that meant shortening everything. And that went on, oh, I don't know, for a couple of years. And I decided I didn't like it anymore.
Yeah.
So I walked.
I know they have a street named after Dick Biondi. Is there something named after you in Chicago yet?
No, there sure isn't.
Well,
No.
that's on the bucket list, I assume.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they'll name a bucket after me. Yeah. No, there's nothing.
Well, I mean, Biondi, of course, is I don't know, because he was there at the beginning. He is such a
Well,
legend.
Biondi has his own mystique, so to
Yeah.
speak. And you're right. He was there at the very beginning, and it made a huge, huge, huge impression.
And you were there at the end,
Yes,
in a way, you know?
in a way, yeah.
Yeah. So how has this transition been to WGN and talk radio? I mean, you didn't want to do talk when ABC did it, but now you're doing it.
Well, I never considered it. Let's put it that way. When ABC did it, I'm glad I didn't, because they brought in syndication programming and a whole bunch of stuff. WGN is, I guess, the last of what I would call a full service radio station. It reports on politics, but it's not political. It doesn't have any quote unquote political talk shows. It's got the traffic, it's got the sports, it's got the weather, carries the Blackhawks, has a full news department. They just said to me, get to the ID on time and don't lose the license.
Don't you love that?
But it's taken a bit of an adjustment, yeah, to get the pacing right, so to speak. And yeah. I mean, Bob's been doing the morning show for maybe 6 years, but he told me, boy, when I first came in here, he said, I couldn't believe the material I was burning through. Because he was just going too fast. You know, you got to, I don't know, get into the pace of the talk show, so to speak, so you can feel comfortable.
So is it similar? I mean, doing music, you know that you've got these 3-4 minute records.
I'll tell you what. No, it's not similar.
Well, but
No.
like a talk bit might be how long? You know, you're on a topic for.
Well, it could be anywhere from, God, I don't know. Depends. 10 minutes. You can take a break and then go back to it if you wanted to.
But you can think of it as a thing. This is part one, this is part two, and then I'm going on to another subject, stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's
so in that sense, you can build the pacing as is comfortable for you, and kind of weave it in and out of the breaks and things you have to do, and
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
This time it's a phone call. Next time it's an in-studio guest.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Are you doing any like production for the show, like you might have done in Top 40 Radio, but you do it with the mindset of a talk station?
I've not done any production. No. And I don't foresee doing any either. If something comes to me, I'll do it. But it said, we live in a different landscape.
Right.
I was doing a imitation of Nixon. I'm not going to be doing an imitation of Trump. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So, things have changed a bit, and I've changed a bit. And I mean, if something were to actually pop up in my brain, I'd do it. But Um, well, wait a minute now. I do production in the sense that I try to match up either a recorded comedy bit by somebody or music that matches whatever I'm going into. Um, what would be a trying to think what would be an example. Um, okay, this is sort of if I'm talking to a guy about NASA or something, I might lead into it with Out of Space by Billy Preston. I mean, maybe not, but that's sort of that's an ingredient that I enjoy trying to add to the show. I don't know if you want to call that production really, but
No, it's just a concept of,
yeah,
that has support with some music elements or whatever.
right. Just a little extra wrinkle, so to
Yeah.
speak.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
that, for example, I've listened a lot to NPR, especially when they had the shows from the UK on. They have game
Yeah.
shows and things, and they do silly word games, and you know, I remember one of the funniest things I've ever seen on the internet is when this one show had all these different people who had these incredibly funny laughs. And so the host would say something, and then of course they would all laugh, and the laugh would be make you laugh. I mean, it was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
those to me, those kinds of things, once in a while could really be interesting in a talk format, especially because you don't have the
True.
burden,
Yeah.
of everything else that goes on in
That's
talk
very
radio.
that's very true.
Because when I was working in Detroit at WCAR for Draper, I was production director and everything, but I also used to produce shows that he thought needed help. So there was a guy named Dan O'Shea who was on in the afternoon on WCAR. He's really good, but I took him on as a production project. And so I would map out with a clock all these things that we would try to do with him. And so, sort of like what they do now in some cases, we have a producer on your show that is sort
True.
of organized and who's a writer and also
Yeah.
a producer. I think that is an interesting thing for talk radio. So,
Oh, producers are extremely important.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're on your own, right?
Yes, technically speaking.
Yeah, you just have the
Although
news.
although I call on a lot of different people to come on every once in a while. For
Yeah,
instance, a producer, for instance, or somebody else. But yeah, technically I'm on my own, right?
and you enjoy it, right? You're enjoying radio
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's work, but I like it.
Yeah. So you've won all kinds of awards. You're in the Radio Hall of Fame. How was that?
Yeah.
How was that? Was that a big deal? I mean,
Well, yeah, sure. I mean,
all these people in the audience, I can't believe he got it and I didn't.
well, I'll tell you what. No, that's not the way it went for me.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I know.
The Museum of Broadcast Communications Hall of Fame, I looked at the list of people that were in it
Yeah.
going way back, and I'm like, I can't believe that my name is in the same.
Yeah. Arthur Godfrey,
Yeah,
Walter
Jack Benny. I
Cronkite.
mean, come on, what are we talking about here? Um, they did this. They put up a temporary museum, I guess, in the past couple of weeks, and it has an exhibit, a small exhibit, a plaque that has every Chicago person that's in this Hall of Fame, and it's done alphabetically. And I'm between Kay Kaiser and Little Orphan Annie. So there you go.
What's left?
Right. How are you going to top that?
So, okay, you're at a crossroads because at some point you probably will want to hang it up for WGN. Is the next stop politics? I mean,
No. Oh my God, are you kidding? No way.
yeah,
Absolutely not. No. Um, I think WGN is a good way to end it, quite frankly. So
yeah.
I haven't thought beyond that at all.
Well, you've done an amazing
Oh, well, thanks, Jim.
thing. Just it's a pleasure to talk to you. Sorry it went on for so long, but I hope hope that you got some memories out of this as
Oh,
well
are you kidding? Tom O'Brien, that was unbelievable.
as
Totally.
yeah. Thanks, John. It's good to see you here. We'll meet up again, I'm sure.
All right, Jim. Thank you. Talk to
All
you
right.
soon. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.